A former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, has expressed worry over the perceived inability of the African Union and other sub-regional groups to promoting democratic values in the continent. Mbeki made this known during a lecture section organized by the Association of Foreign Relations Professionals in Abuja. He says the cases of coups and the threats of it in other states of the continent is an indicator to the fallenness of democracy in those countries.
The African definition of the politics of peace underlines and emphasizes the point that to address effectively the challenge of conflict on our continent requires that we do not limit ourselves to putting in place security arrangements on the basis of a wrong assumption that peace consists merely in the absence of war. And we said the process of ending a conflict must be understood in its wide political context and not just the basis of the narrow security consideration that the guns have fallen silent. Unquote. I'm afraid that this is not as yet happening in the context of the important work the AU is doing to end the conflict on our continent. We are not doing enough to implement the preventative policies of the AU and have fallen short in other instances, such as the now ended very violent conflict between the governments of Ethiopia and the regional government of Tigray. The re-emergence of the phenomenon of military coups or military interventions on our continent has emphasized the importance of the implementation of the preventative policies of the AU, as well as interventions to help ensure the popular legitimacy of the democratic systems we establish in our countries. It is important that even as we engage this matter of development, we do so in a way which ensures the involvement of democratic institutions, such as our elected legislatures, in the development processes.
We've just started a new government, and I think everyone needs to be on board to move this country to greater heights. We want to assure the government we will do our best, and we are always ready to do our best, and we are always willing to do our best. So we need to come together. And Mr. President, as I've said, this magazine you're about to launch, because I've seen that I'm supposed to not launch, present. I think we need to have a talk on how to go about it, because once a year publication is not good enough for this special body, at least 3 times a year. And some of us could find funds for you to do so, if you are willing to do so. Because of what's happening in Niger, I think we need to talk about some of these issues. What do we really need to do in Nigeria as regards our foreign policies?
I therefore would like to take this opportunity to call upon our African leaders, first, to ensure that the politics and governance in their countries are inclusive and free as to promote peace and stability. Secondly, to move beyond the rhetoric of African unity and cooperation and focus on practical cooperation among African countries. Thirdly, to eschew what I call the psychology of subservience to centers of power outside Africa. And thirdly, they should focus on asserting with greater confidence individually and collectively, Africa's role in global affairs, thereby ensuring what was, I thought, humorously put by President Ruto of Kenya recently, when he said that Africa must be at the table, not in the menu of global dining.
The journey of sustained democracy began in this country in 1999 after several years of military rule, during which we have witnessed the good, the bad, and the ugly face of our foreign policy management. We give gratitude to God that we have successfully and firmly enshrined the rule of law and democratic governance till date. As usual with our ideals in the AFRPN, to always interrogate and dissect relevant, current, and topical issues, the topic for this year's lecture is carefully fashioned around the burning issue of our time as it affects our profession. Hence, it is captioned, Examining the Nexus between Foreign Policy Goals and Democratic Governance.